Hello everyone and welcome to the Enemies Earlier, and thank you for joining me as we discuss another what if scenario around the A Certain Magical Index franchise. And if you have no idea what this series is all about, well basically I take a role or an event from the Index franchise and place myself within that said role or event. It's super simple, super easy. I create a creative self-insertion for said event of the video is based around. And I've already done this for a couple of other scenarios on this channel. I've done what if I was a level 3 Esper, and what if I joined Skill Out. So if you haven't checked those out yet, and you want something a little bit creative, then why not go check those videos out. I'll link them in the description down below. But today's scenario, today's topic of choice is, what if I had 20,000 clones? That's right, the Misaka clones are coming into fruition, and I'm going to talk about what if I had my own version of them, and I was actually instead Misaka in her own kind of weird story and development type of thing. So the people in charge of the level 6 Project Shift, they had the goal to basically design and create a level 6 Esper using Accelerator because he was the strongest level 5 Esper at the time, and basically they planned in tree diagram that he would need to kill 20,000 Misaka clones. This is obviously the main story. I'm just giving you a bit of background, a bit of context here. Now, those clones were obviously level 2 to 3 versions of Makoto Mitsuka herself. And I'm not a level 5. I'm not the Ace of Tokyo Udai or the Railgun, whichever name you want to give me. So we'll have to change the script slightly to kind of match myself. Because I am a non-Esper. You know, I'm a human being. Just like you, I'm a human being. So then, we'd have to create a different type of script. We then have to flip the scenario a little bit to kind of work with us. So in this new scenario, the researchers would basically have a way to create the sisters, as we know, the Misaka clones, but they would have the opportunity and the means to create clones of people that would then be able to have level 3 Esper powers. So basically, they could take someone's DNA and create a level 3 Esper out of them. So that's the way we would change that. That's how we would get back to that level 3 and how we would need that figure of 20,000. Okay, fine. But the drawback is, this method of cloning only works on level 0s like myself. So that is where I come in. They tested it on myself, being level 0, gave them my DNA, and boop, they got loads of clones that are level 3s. Thus, they can still do this project. Now this would still work, as Accelerator would again need to defeat 20,000 clones in order to reach level 6 status, and they wouldn't need to tell me the real reason as to why they need my DNA. You know, a younger version of myself could have been told anything and probably would have agreed. When I was younger, I was quite naive. I just liked anything that was cool, and even if they say, hey kid, do you want to see multiple versions of yourself and become almost like a superhero? I would have been like, yeah, sure, why not? That's how I would flip the scenario and change it a little bit to make it work for me. So, we have myself in this storyline. We have the 20,000 Misaka clones that are still level 3 versions of myself. Me, obviously, is still level 0. Oh well. Let's continue onwards. So then, how would I find out that I've suddenly got loads of clones running around fighting a crazy, wacky, powerful guy called Accelerator? Well, to do this, I would need to borrow a theme from the Railgun series, and that, of course, being rumours and stories. Now, I've always liked the idea of following or hearing rumours / stories, and basically following up on them and seeing if they were true or not. Now, granted, I don't believe most of the stories that I would hear, or most of the rumours I hear on the internet, but I still do find them fascinating. Now, imagine this. You hear a rumour cycling around school or the city or whatnot that says if you follow the sounds of screams and fighting while you're walking through the back streets at the night of the city, then you'll run into someone who looks just like you. Then, you know, your interest is going to be quite piqued. You're going to be like, should I do this? But then again, I don't believe rubbish like that. Until one night, I was walking back from wherever it is I was at. It was late at night, I'm going back to my dorm, and suddenly someone jumps out of the alleyway wearing a pair of goggles. Obviously, these goggles are iconic to the sisters, and I would basically just look down to see if this person was okay. They're covered in cuts, they're bleeding, and I would ask to, see how they were doing. I'll go, you okay? And then I'll look down and see my own reflection. Shocked, I would look back into the alleyway and see a lot more goggles illuminating the darkness of said alley. And that is when I would find out I have multiple copies of myself. And after a brief explanation of who the clones are and why they were created, they would then walk away, stating that a weak level 0 like myself shouldn't get involved, as they are clones of me and they possess Esper abilities, so they're a lot more capable of handling their own problems. And of course I'm not going to, am I? I'm going to kind of go, no, I want to learn more. I want to know more. So now I'll go searching, I'll go creating, I'll then go finding out as much as I can, but little information would turn up. Until eventually I find out that, the level 6 project is a thing. And it's actually something that's been conducted every night, and I want to try and put a stop to it. Okay, so how do I help them? Bearing in mind, I do have to keep to a somewhat natural flow of the main story. So Toma would need to come in and get involved in order to help shut the project down after Accelerator gets defeated. Now, I understand that the project was shut down because a level 0 in Kamijo Toma defeated a level 5 in Accelerator, and, we had to push that reason slightly to one side for a minute and just kind of look at everything else. Because obviously my character, I'm a level 0, so I could just defeat Accelerator, but again, I don't have Imagine Breaker, so it's going to be very difficult for me to do so. However, saying that, I can still play a crucial role in this fight. Now, I can still most likely destroy the research labs and help slow down the experiment, and then in doing so, I would also increase my skills of stealth and combat, which is something I would need when fighting Accelerator or trying to get away from Mugino. Now, I probably would be able to get away and hide in the shadows when facing Mugino and Frenda, but I would not be able to beat them. Running away is the best I can do, and that would be okay. There's no harm in running away from those two characters. They're ridiculously strong. Now, when it comes to fighting Accelerator, it would be impossible for me to win. But this is due to his ability, and my martial arts skills would just be ineffective. And yes, I know martial arts skills. Well, at least Taekwondo. That is something that I do know, and that is a true fact. Hey, you've learned something. Now, the fight wouldn't be a complete waste of time if I was to go up against Accelerator, as it would basically be me standing up and showing that I in fact do care for these clones, and since I am their original, I want to protect them and help them out whenever they need it. They don't need to see me as a burden because I'm a level 0 and they have Esper abilities. I want them to be able to rely on me, much like, a younger brother would rely on their older brother. And yes, of course, I'm taking bits from the main series where the sisters look up to Misuka as the big sister. But again, I gotta somewhat follow the main story. So you can kind of give me a pass on that a little bit. But my struggles and determination would help spark a change in the clone's mindset, basically saying, okay, powers and abilities don't mean everything. So maybe we can let this guy off and give him a bit of a break. And maybe we can rely on him in the future. And just before I faint, I would hear the phrase, man, I knew you were up to something. You've been acting strange a lot at school recently. And that's when Toma would arrive to basically help take down Accelerator and prove that the project was wrong. And it's a failed experiment, as a level 5 in Accelerator would lose to a level 0. Because obviously Imagine Breaker could get through the vector changes ability that Accelerator possesses, and my martial arts skills won't. If I try to kick the barrier that Accelerator can create, my leg's going to get blown off completely. Now, you're probably thinking, how would I know Toma? Well, obviously I'm a level 0, and level 0s in the series are shown to have separate classes that they need to kind of take over the summer. Of course, us two being fellow level 0s, we would have some form of interaction while we're at school. And it's plausible that we would be at the same school in this what-if scenario. So obviously, if I'm acting strangely, he's a pretty smart guy. He can find things and see things. I'm sure he can put 2 and 2 together. Well, this is just an idea that I've come up with when thinking about the what if scenario, where if I had that 20,000 clones and they were part of the level 6 project. Now, obviously, you might have some cool ideas. You might have some better ideas than the one I've just presented to you. If so, why not share them in the comments down below? I'd love to hear what you come up with. This video series is a series in where you can get creative and I can get creative and we can discuss our creations until, like, you want to stop. It's entirely up to you. I think it'd be super cool to see what you can come up with. But as always, I do want to thank you for watching this video. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me, and comment all your thoughts down below. Have a great day. Arigato, matane, goodbye.